get all my stuff situated real quick. First of all, let's start out and pray real quick, and then we'll get into the message. So let's pray. Lord, I just ask that you come over this building this evening and lay your hand over it. I ask that you open everyone's hearts here to hear this message, and I pray that you use me as a vessel and apply this word the way you want it applied. Just bless us. Thank you so much for this divine opportunity. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen. Pastor Maharis said, I'm not used to holding one of these, so bear with me if it's crazy. I'm 36. I have 3 kids and a wife. I am a fireman. I do want to thank you on behalf of all of us for having us here. It's a real pleasure. We don't get to do this back home. It's kind of frowned upon for us to mix really any kind of Christianity with the fire department or the police department. So we're privileged and honored that y'all will actually allow us to come do this. I respect all of you. When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do as a career, I originally wanted to be a police officer. God had a different plan for me, so I became a firefighter. My wife was thankful for that. She would rather me be carrying water instead of a pistol. Like I said, I have so much respect for what you guys do. The guys in our cities, it's a little different here. Back home, our police officers aren't looked at as being a big part of the community. They're kind of taken for granted. But here, what I hear is y'all are really good, and the citizens really proud that they have you guys protecting them. So with that said, I want to try to put this in perspective for you guys by using y'all's uniform. As a citizen that doesn't know anything about fire service or the police service, may look at our uniforms when we're walking down the street as just being a nice shirt, some nice slacks, and some nice polished boots. But they don't realize how important all those things that we carry are to us, and how well trained we are to use all the things that we carry. So I'm going to start with talking about you guys' belt. Your belt isn't just used for something that looks nice, even though it does. You carry handcuffs, maybe a pistol, maybe some extra clips for your weapon. That's your belt. Normal citizens don't realize that your belt actually holds all that up. Next thing I want to talk about is the chest armor. I don't know if y'all wear chest armor here. You do. Chest protection. Back home, the police officers use that. Can y'all hear me? Am I doing okay? Okay, good. The police officers back home, they wear that. And the reason they wear that, just like y'all wear that, is to protect you from the enemy, to absorb fire when it's coming at you. Without that, you're more vulnerable to the enemy. So when you wake up in the morning here, I'm sure they're training you guys and making sure that you wear that you don't leave that at home. It's important. And you guys and gals can probably tell them how important it is. The next thing I want to talk about is your boots. Normal citizens will look at your boots and think, wow, they got some big black boots on. That's cool. They don't know that your boots are to be in a ready state at all times. We keep them polished for a reason. We make sure the soles don't have holes in them for a reason. Our shoelaces aren't frayed. The inside of our boots are kept clean and dry because we never know what we're going to be doing in our boots. So a normal citizen may look at that and just think you have an ordinary pair of boots on. The next thing is a shield. Do y'all use shields? I know at home we use them in riots and big things like that. And the reason we use those shields is to protect ourselves from enemy fire, or when they're throwing grenades, the fire bombs and things like that. It protects the officer from danger, possibly death. The next thing is a helmet. Do y'all wear helmets sometimes? Or no? During riots, maybe a shield and a helmet. The helmet is used to protect your head, the vital piece of your body, from the enemy. Not only in front of you, but from behind and from above. And the one thing I've noticed since I've been here is I wish I had a helmet, because y'all have huge coconuts hanging from y'all's trees. And I don't know if y'all like go around trees when you walk, but that's what I've been doing, because I'm not walking by it. I don't want to be the only American killed by a coconut. The next thing I want to talk about is the sword. Some officers carry swords. Nowadays we have guns. Some officers in different countries still carry swords. And that's to defend themselves and protect not only the citizens, but your fellow officers that are with you. And those people are highly skilled and trained to use that sword. So with all that said, I want to read Ephesians 6, 10 through 20. And after we read that, I'm going to apply the same things into a spiritual aspect. So I'm going to read Ephesians 6, 10 through 20. If you want to read it, if not, I got it. Okay, it says, "Finally, be strengthened by the Lord and by his vast strength. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can stand against the tactics of the devil. For our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the world's powers and this darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavens. This is why you must take up your full armor of God, so that you may be able to resist in the evil day, and having prepared everything, to take your stand. Stand therefore, with the truth like a belt around your waist, righteousness like armor on your chest, and your feet sandaled with readiness for the gospel of peace. In every situation, take the shield of faith, and with it you will be able to extinguish the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is God's word." So with that said, I'm going to try to apply the same pieces of your uniform, into a spiritual aspect. You guys and girls that are training, when you go out to fight, and it will happen, you will have resistance from the enemy, whether it's someone in the city or someone coming to your city and attacking you. You will find resistance. And y'all obviously have been called to a position of utmost respect and responsibility. So with that, I'm going to start with the belt of truth. Without truth, you have nowhere to place your weapons or ammunition. Your belt plays a much bigger role than holding up your pants. As a trained officer, you guys and gals will become so familiar with your weapons and where they're at on your belt that you'll be able to reach and find them in total darkness. The same is true when we talk about God's living word. You must know the truth so that when you're in total darkness, you'll be able to find your weapon. Next is the armor of righteousness, the chest plate. When spiritual warfare comes, and it will, and I've heard a lot about spiritual warfare in this area since I've been here. When the devil comes, he may start with little things, but if he can't get that, he'll go straight for your vital organs. You must hold steadfast. With the protection of your armor, God's armor, you'll be able to go deeper and into darker territory of the enemy. Your boots of righteousness, or readiness, your boots of readiness and the gospel of peace. Like I said earlier, the boots play one of the biggest roles in y'all's and our uniform. If someone here escapes from jail, y'all call it jail? Someone escapes from jail, and your chief officer calls upon you guys to go and manhunt and chase this guy down. If your boots aren't ready, then you're not going to be as helpful as someone that has ready boots. If your soles are worn and you're called to these hills with these coconut shells, you better not have holes in your boots. The same is true in the spiritual aspect. As Christians, we must be ready. Our feet must be ready for when God calls us to go. It may be smooth terrain. You may get by with some holy soul boots. But if he calls you to go, like he's called us, it's a long ways here. And we're prepared. We answered the call like that. When my captain asked me if I could go, it took me about that long. And I said yes. My wife didn't really like that, but it happened. And I'm here. And she's not. The shield of faith. The shield of faith. The shield is used to protect us from the enemy. It's usually from the front. We can see it. Usually the shields are clear so we can see through them, so we can see the enemy. But the shield of faith not only protects you from what you see and what you hear physically, it protects you from the things you can't see. The things coming from the sides and behind and from above. That's the shield of faith. It's having faith that God will guide you through good times and bad times, hard times and easy times. The helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit. As a helmet gives us protection while facing danger, salvation gives us comfort while facing danger. Just as a sword can defeat our enemy, the sword of the Spirit also allows us to save our enemy. That's all that I have. You can ask my fellow friends. I'm pretty to the point. Because if I'm not, I start saying stuff that doesn't make any sense. I do have a story that I want to share and I'm going to apologize now. Firemen in America are really tough. So if you ever meet one and I start crying here in a minute, do not tell them that I did that. So I'll never hear the end of it, ever.
Your allergies.
I may not ever hear the end of it anyway because I got 3 firemen with me. I don't know if y'all know who Chris Kyle is. Anybody know who Chris Kyle is? In our country, Chris Kyle is an American sniper. We know what a sniper is? Yes. Okay. Chris Kyle had 160 confirmed kills. We know for sure that he killed 160 people. He had over 255 unconfirmed kills. Chris Kyle was no joke. If there was a battle happening, you don't want Chris Kyle around. He was also known in Iraq as the Devil of Ramadi. So one guy had such an influence in a foreign country that they nicknamed him, not his army or his SEAL team, which he was part of the SEAL team, which for you guys I think is the elite. He was the top of the top. If you get to the top, and then you get Chris Kyle and you throw him up above that. For them to nickname him the Devil of Ramadi, and also his friends named him the Legend, because everyone thought he was a legend. But to them, they saw when he came back from tours, they would go out on a mission and come back, and everybody's tired. Chris Kyle would stay up and play video games. And they were like, this guy something is wrong with him. Anyway, I want to share a story that one of his Navy SEAL partners shared about Chris Kyle. One day in Iraq, they came under heavy enemy fire. 2 of them on a rooftop, like this. As the fire was coming, Chris Kyle's partner dove behind the wall to protect himself from the enemy fire. I mean, that's what I would do, right? He said when he looked up, after he got brave enough to look up, Chris Kyle was still mounted on his post. He never left it. He was still calling out enemy targets, and he was still engaging enemies. That's Chris Kyle. Chris Kyle was willing to lay down his life for his friend. His friend hit the deck. He didn't follow him, he protected him. He also defended our country. He served 4 tours in Iraq. 4. When he came, well, let me go here. After his tours, he did return to the U.S. He served 4. But I want to share with you John 15:13 before I get too far. It says, no one has greater love than to lay down his life for his friend. And here, including her friend. When we're called as firefighters in America, I'm not leaving my buddies behind. If there's a fire and they're stuck, I'm going. I may not get them out, but we're going out together. Same with you guys. Y'all been called not only to defend the city and protect the laws here. If one of you guys get in a shootout, or gals, you better hope the officers that are with you don't run. You better hope you don't look around to the cop car and they're hiding behind it and you're standing out by yourself.